Hey everybody, Sean Smith here. Welcome to Awakening. Another session of getting our lives inspired and putting ourselves in a position to realize the dreams that we have, right? To push back against the dead man walking syndrome. That's what Awakening is for, right? Because it's too easy to fall into ruts. It's too easy to just coast, to go through the motions of life. Life is way too short for us not to live this as a great adventure, not to give everything we have, right? And I was just at a funeral service yesterday, and it moved me because it was a life of adventure. It was a life of relationship. It was a life of meaning. It was a life of impact, right? Where there was like hundreds of people there to show their support and offer their sympathies and to just demonstrate how a life could impact another life. And I say that to you because I want you to lean into that. I want you to lean into this idea that you're not promised tomorrow. Like, we need to create a life that has a sense of urgency built into it, or we're not going to realize the fullness that is, it's there. It's out there waiting for you to seize and to grab hold of. And yet for so many of us, including myself from time to time, right, I get sucked into the vortex of the monotony of life. And it's like, so as much as I'm sharing this with you, I share it with myself. Like, I want to be reminded over and over and over again of why we're here and how to make the most of this life on this earth while you still have the ability to do so. And so Awakening is meant to stimulate something inside of you, to pull out that warrior spirit in you, right? That athlete that's inside of you, that dominant spirit that's within you. There's something that God put in you that wants to be pulled out of you, right? And to let that ember burn deeply and passionately so that you can live life to the fullest and impact those around you as you do so. And so today, I'm going to quote this guy named Steven Furtick. Some of you know he's a pastor out of North Carolina. And he says this: God hides joy within the act of obedience. God hides joy within the act of obedience. And I was like thinking about this, like not many people are going to be like, yeah, I can't wait to listen to this, but I'm telling you, hang in there, because this is exactly what we need to do. You need to do the very things you don't want to do in order to experience joy, right? So the act of obedience, think of it this way: the things that I don't want to do in life, like the things I want to procrastinate, the things I want to postpone, the things I want to put off, are the very things that create space for blessing, create space for growth, create space for you to change and become better at, right? And when we just pass the buck on and we just keep procrastinating, we're missing out on the lesson perhaps that God wants to teach you, that can set you off in this new direction or set you into this next iteration of your life, this next chapter that could be the greatest chapter you've ever written in your life. And so may we not shy away from this, right? Do the things that you don't want to do so that you can create space for God to bless you, right? And so what I think happens is, as you act, right, you learn and you become. It's not through sitting there doing nothing. It's not through procrastination, being lazy. It's as you act, you learn and you become. And so I want to think about this. Like, I was thinking about, what are the examples in your life? You be thinking about it. Throw it in the chat. Like, what are the things that you don't like doing, but when you're at your best, you do them? This could be as simple as things around the house, right? Like, you want to have a great relationship, a great marriage. And so there's things that have to be done around the house and you don't want to do them because at the end of a long day, you're tired, etc. But you do them anyways because you know it matters to your spouse and you know that it will make the household better. And if you have kids, you're leading by example. So you're showing them what love looks like. And that matters to you. So as you act, you learn and become, because you don't understand the impact that you have, that the little ones are watching you. The little ones are discovering, like, do you have a great relationship or not? If you have a great relationship, you're passing that on to them. I'm trying to say, they're caught more than they're taught, right? You catch more than the teachings, right? They see what's happening. And in that, It's like you keep doing the small things, the acts of obedience that you don't necessarily like love to do, don't want to do, don't have the energy to do, don't feel like doing, but you do them because they matter, because they're the little foundational things. They're the little things that matter, the little things that over time lead to either a great marriage or a distant marriage, right? And that's saying it nicely. So an example for me is like, I don't love waking up at 5 a.m. every day to go for a walk with my wife. But this is something that, I don't know, maybe a month ago, she said this is important to her. This is something that she can get some exercise in before work. And so she asked me to do it with her. And I was like, I have my own routine. I have my own schedule. I go to the gym after she goes to work. So I'm like, oh man, like, no, I don't really want to do this. But when you remember who you are and who you want to be and why you're here on this earth, you make a decision out of that, right? Like, I don't make a decision out of my feelings. I don't make a decision out of being selfish. I don't make a decision out of like what I want. No. I've committed my life to her. I've committed to be one with her. I've committed to have a great marriage for her. I committed to be an example of marriage for my kids. And so I say yes. And so every day that alarm goes off, and you know what the tendency is when the alarm goes off? The tendency is like, oh man, I don't want to do this. And anytime my mind goes there and I say, no, I love waking up early. I love spending time with my wife. I love going out and like starting the day. You know, I start looking at all the positives because like once you're up and about, man, this time of year here in New England, it's awesome. You get up at 5 a.m. We're hitting the pavement at 5:20 and we're often walking together, and sometimes we have great conversations. Sometimes it's just quiet. Sometimes it's the beauty of the moment. Sometimes, it's just like, wow. And I'm reminded of my love for my wife. It's in the act of obedience that the blessings of joy come in, right? Because all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I'm enriching my marriage right now. I'm enriching my relationship with her, and I'm getting a little extra cardio in by walking together, right? What is it in your life that you're not doing that you ought to be doing because you know it's the best thing for you? Or what are the things that you've, just like I am, what are the things in your life that you don't want to do, but you're doing it and you're finding the joy and you're finding the reward? Write that in the feed if you don't mind. Right? How about this? I don't have time to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't. Like as I'm getting older, like I still enjoy lifting weights, but I know cardiovascular health is so important. So I'm adding some cardiovascular types of, whether it's riding the bike or elliptical or running, whatever that looks like. And then also stretching and recovery is important. So my time at the gym is actually taking longer. And I feel like, I don't have the time to do this, right? But what? The act of obedience of going there and doing what I need to do, because my belief is that longevity and productivity over time leads to impacting more people's lives. So I must do the things that I don't have time for now in order to realize the joy of impacting more people's lives over the years. And I believe that I have to have great health to do that. I believe that I have to have great energy to do that and great strength to do that. And I love the feeling like when I'm done with the gym, I'm like, yes, like I feel better about myself. Then I lead better. I have better mental acuity. Like it all goes together, right? And so again, like what's the things that you're not doing? Another thing that might sound funny to you because some of you know that I'm a pastor, right? But I don't want to spend an hour a day doing my spiritual disciplines. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh man, I can't wait to spend an hour here. Like, because in my mind, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. But I want to live life to the fullest in Christ, and I want to honor God, and I know the importance of connecting with Him first thing in the morning, right? There's something about that when I look at Jesus Christ, the man, how did He have a great relationship with the Father? How did He live this extraordinary life that impacted billions of people's lives over thousands of years? It's because He woke up early and He spent time with the Father. He spent time regularly being connected. He says he only did what the Father had him do, and he only said what the Father would have him say. Like he was so connected. And I want that kind of life. I want to have such a life that there's so little of Sean left and so much of the Spirit of God living through me That's what people see. They see the love of God. They see passion for life. They see compassion for all human beings. That someone that wants to give dignity, respect to people. And so I believe, right? You don't have to believe this, but I believe that those spiritual disciplines make a difference and allow me to be the best version of myself. So although I don't think I have enough time to do it, I value it so highly that I'm going to create that time. And then the last thing is, think about this. This might be, different for some of you, but I'll call it giving. The spiritual discipline is called tithing, to give 10% back to God of your income. But just call it generosity. If you're not giving away some of your monies that you're earning, I think you're missing out on something. And it's this act of obedience. If you're a Christ follower, for sure, right? Because it's a biblical principle to give 10% away, right? So I'm not getting hung up on the percentage. If you don't give anything, start giving 1%. If you're giving 5%, start giving 8%. Like, I'm just going to tell you that when you break the hold that money has on you, in the act of obedience of giving it away to bless other people, you are creating space for blessing. Because giving and receiving are cyclical. And this is a principle that like so many people miss out on, and the joy of giving and the joy of blessing and the joy of making a difference in other people's lives. My goodness. So these are examples of what I'm talking about. There's 100 of these examples. What are the things that you need to start to just act on? Start putting action, right? And then you're creating space for the blessing. And so now you've been awakened. Now go make a difference in this life that you've been given, because you're not promised tomorrow. Seize the day. Go make a difference in this world. Be a blessing, and bless the other. Peace and love.